I got hit by my own ship when I was getting out of the seat.
There's another NPC. Yep, he's dead. Oh, no. Okay, so I just noticed my microphone wasn't on. Thank you very much, Resident Evil. Me, God, this is going to be one of those days. So they could hear you guys, just not me. So,
Ouch.
so as I was mentioning before, Resident pointed out that I had my mic off. Referral bonus for the MPUV cargo. This is what happens when you do live. MPUV cargo, use the referral bonus and get yourself 5,000 extra AUEC as well as the little orange beast that could. Ship Showdown winner, the MPUV cargo is a $35 value with LTI that you're going to get for using that referral bonus. You're going to be able to keep that in your hangar. It is upgradable. So you can use it as an LTI token, move it up to another ship. And, it's a great tool to use when you're getting in the game and new to the game. So use that referral bonus. It's definitely well worth it. Now, keep in mind with IAE, there's going to be daily offerings as far as new ships, new sales, and those are going to start on the day the manufacturer launches in the Expo Center, and they're going to be available throughout till the end of the show. So just because you didn't get in there on Anvil Day to buy the Anvil stuff doesn't mean you missed out. You'll still be able to get it through the end of the show. The only difference would be the whole limited stuff, which we'll go over here shortly. But the free fly is going to go through December 1st, and there's a couple of other bonuses that come with that, such as the IAE Daily Screenshot Contest. Screenshot the manufacturer of that day and win a ship with LTI from them. Details are going to be on the RSI website, and actually, there we go. And it's going to follow the schedule of the IAE. So each day that manufacturer opens up, you can submit your screenshots and have a chance to win a ship from them with LTI. So definitely a great contest to get entered in, especially if you're somebody that really enjoys taking screenshots or are very good at it. I'm awful at it. I can't do it to save my life, but they're great contests to get into. And yeah, actually, Resident, that's the best thing about IAE is that you do have that opportunity to fly every ship that's flyable or drivable in game right now for no cost. So you can rent it at no charge. You can try it before you buy it, pledge it, rent it, whatever. It's the best time of year to be getting into this game. Other things that they're actually going to be throwing out there as well, too, is we still got a 15% discount on Toby. Which is the eye tracking system. And actually, I have that myself and I love it. It's make it very easy to do your head tracking. You can look out the side windows as you're flying. You can stare at that ion or inferno gun as it fires. No components that you have to put off the side of your headset or anything. Very easy to use. And they now have that gaze technology where it can also help you with your targeting. I haven't really messed around with it yet, but from what I've heard, people do love it. Also, along with that, Game Glass has a 15% discount. And they're also doing an IAE giveaway to win a Redeemer or a Redeemer and your choice of an Inferno or Ion. Log into Game Glass, use the shard for Star Citizen during IAE, and you get entered in for a chance to win. And if you're not familiar with Game Glass, it allows you to use a mobile or tablet device, and you have basically an MFD that you can use to activate different things like your landing gear, your lights, comms, weapons, shields, power consumption. All those different things are at the touch of your finger. It really gives you another depth of, interaction with the game itself. So definitely, if you're somebody that likes to have more gadgets and more control and a deeper immersion of control, Game Glass is a great thing to do that for you. All right, and then that brings us to the starter packs. As always with IAE, we got discounted starter packs, which are going to be the Mustang and the Nomad. They actually have two different packs with this. The Mustang is available for $40.50 as just the regular starter pack, or you can get it with Squadron 42 for $60.50. These also come with 120-month insurance. And then you got the Consolidated Outland Nomad at $76 or the Squadron 42 version at $96. So a little bit of savings there. A few bucks here or there always helps, something you can put towards something else. But those are going to be the IAE starter pack specials that they're running now. All the other starter packs are still available. So if you don't want one of these two ships, you can go with one of the other ones. You can also get these ships if you want like a Cuddy or something like that instead. And of course, always CCU it as well too if you want to get that 120-month insurance, as the other starter packs, I believe, are just going to be the regular insurance.
Yeah.
So could benefit to get that and just do an upgrade on that. So also, as it's been for the last couple weeks or week and a half or so, the Hercules is on sale with standalone, Warbond, and Concierge packages. We covered that last week. Lots of different things that are available out there. And again, as each manufacturer comes in, you're going to see different Warbonds and standalone packages available for all the ships there. There are some special Concierge packages. And I think they started this last year because I don't recall seeing it the year before, or it could be because I wasn't Concierge. The all packages, and that's going to be the manufacturer, every ship that manufacturer makes, all package on the Concierge store. So far we have Anvil, and that has a Warbond availability of $3,120, or you can get it with a non-Warbond at $3,470. And let's pull that up here so you can see what you get. And that's going to come with the Spartan, Ballista, Crucible, Super Hornet, Gladiator. I'm not even going to say the name of that ship. The Liberator, the Pisces, the Hornet F7C, the Tracker, the Hawk, the Valkyrie, the Carrack, and the Arrow, the Wildfire, the Hornet Ghost, and the Hurricane. The ship that we will not say its name. If you watch the streams, you know which one that is. I'm not even going to acknowledge it exists. These all come with LTI. So if you're an Anvil fan, great, definitely a great package, and leaves you one ship to upgrade out of that package to something else. Now, the RSI package, which opened up today, is a little bit more, and this is actually going to be a Warbond of $3,595, and then it's going to be a non-Warbond of $3,995. And for those that aren't familiar, Warbond is different than regular because Warbond, you have to use all new money. You can't use store credit. You can't use coupons. You have to pay that price, new cash flow into CIG. The higher cost or the standard package is basically you can use store credit. You can use your subscriber 10 or 20% off coupons that you get on a yearly basis. And you can get those discounts through that or use available store credit or a mix of any of those. So they give you a little bit of discount if you, throw some new cash in at them. But the RSI package comes with the Scorpius, the Orion, the Constellation Andromeda, the Apollo Triage, every Aurora you can think of, the CL, the MR, the LN, the ES, the LX. Also has the Ursa Rover, both Apollos, the Connie Taurus, Connie Phoenix, Connie Aquila, the Perseus, and the Polaris, which the Perseus and Polaris alone are great ships. They're going to be huge in gameplay in the future. The one thing that it doesn't include is going to be the Connie Phoenix Emerald, which was a limited edition ship that was, I think, put out on some type of marketing thing. So those are not going to ever be buyable in game or through pledges or anything like that. They're very limited in supplies. So definitely a large package. Tomorrow we will get the all ages pack, and I will be visiting my local blood bank to make a visit and deposit so that I can put something towards possibly getting that, because that's going to include, huh?
You get just a little bit more for plasma over blood. Just saying.
Oh, I'll just visit everyone around the state, and by the time I get back, I should be able to be back in time for the third wave.
I'll drive.
That's going to have the Javelin, 2 Idrises, and everything else made by Aegis. So that's going to be a tough one for me to avoid, because I am a Aegis fan. I love those Aegis ships. So, but every day you're going to see something new come out for the concierge. And keep in mind, if you are a concierge thinking that I'm going to buy something concierge for my buddy that's not, I'm going to gift it, you cannot give concierge stuff. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking about getting somebody something that's not concierge and you'll just gift it to them, not necessarily going to be possible to be done. Plus, packs over $1,000. I don't think they're supporting transfers on those yet. So keep that in mind. Terrapin loves Toby. You should be shot. That is just not so.
I got you to say it though.
Ah, God. I hate you. All right. Of course, we got new physical merchandise, and this one is going to get me because there's two things specifically I want, and it's going to be those damn Pico slippers, and then we also have the drink sets, which actually is perfect because in my dining room I just set up a little buffet with a little bar set on it, and that Chairman's Club collector's drink set is calling my name. That's for sure. So
It's a really nice set.
it is, and even the regular one is really nice too, because I think that comes with the coasters also, and that will fit right on that little kind of buffet that I got there. Of course, you can get your Finley and your Pico plushies as well too. So a lot of new actual physical merchandise, and actually, I just got the Cutlass poster, and it is extremely good quality. It's not like the poster that you buy at Walmart with paper thin. It's actually plastic laminate, and it's very, very well made. I have the Origin mouse mat, very well made, stitched edges, and now they came out with the new mouse mat, which I think is an Aegis one, and now I'm probably going to have to buy a new mouse mat. So lots of great stuff there. Check out the store and see if there's anything in there. The prices are reduced for at different times for subscribers, concierge, and all that, but the prices are really not too bad as as far as you stay away from like some of the oddball clothing like the bomber jackets and all that. The coffee mugs are okay. But there's some definitely good stuff, and I think I saw like that Cutlass poster that I got. I think it's like $6 right now, and it's like a 36 by 24. I'm going to get it framed and everything. The tin sign sets are really nice, so check those out. All right. Anything as far as the offers that are going on, you guys are going to take advantage of as far as the concierge, the war bonds, or anything that's out right now?
I'm still contemplating. Haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I've been leaning towards that new sweatshirt that they're bringing out. I don't think it ships till like January, but with the embossing on the back is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, I think I got a picture of that in that clip that I got for it, and he was Jared was talking about that on the Star Citizen Live. I think that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Infinity pullover.
Yeah. He did. He showed it off on Inside Star Citizen, and then was talking about it again on Star Citizen Live.
Yep. Me, I just want the Pico slippers. Gotta have those slippers.
Gotta have Pico slip.
Who
I
does?
know. Actually, Baxter tried to steal my Pico the other day off the shelf. He almost got disowned. So I got Finley on order too to go with Pico. So Pico will have a friend. All right, so patch 3.15.1. We know 3.15 had a hell of a time getting released alive. If you saw any of the past episodes, we talked about that. And with 3.15.1, it was about a 2-day turnaround time to get this going. Of course, it brings in IAE. A lot of the items carry over from 3.15. It brings in the Expo Halls as well as the Ares Starfighter, the Redeemer, and of course the Spartan. Known issues going on right now, again, are very reminiscent of 3.15. Ground vehicle spawn points when you're choosing Orison or ArcCorp. Area 18 for your spawn point. You may have issues with your ground vehicles. Slow updates on bounty hunter missions. We've definitely seen this on stream. It takes a while for that marker to move over to where the target actually is. You can sometimes speed it up by quantuming out and coming back in, and that will help progress it along. The MFD displays are being blocked on the interface by the console, and this I definitely see in the Hercules when you go to try and change the MFD display. It will actually register as something on the console itself instead of the actual MFD. So you can't really change your MFDs in certain areas. Easy to work around, pick another one, but it's a pain.
And if you do and you're not aware of that, don't do it while you're flying in quantum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely don't. What ship was I in the other day that it basically took me out of the pilot seat and I thought it was going to eject me?
Aries.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and
Chase got
luckily I
ejected
was
today.
yeah, and luckily I was dead stop. So when I got out of the ship, it at least didn't fly away without me. So,
Mine was in quantum when I did it.
oh, jeez.
And his ship continued on.
Oh, yeah,
I did find a small workaround for that. If you're using keyboard and mouse, if you hold down your F key to interact, with the boards
hmm
or with the MFDs, if you use the W, A, S, and D key, you can it'll auto snap you around to those different MFDs, and if you're careful with your mouse while it's snapping you to them, you'll actually be able to change the correct MFD without triggering whatever button is near it. It's still a little finicky, but it might help you out in a pinch.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I thought we were just pretty much hosed. I did have luck one time. It only worked once of zooming in, when interacting,
Yeah,
zooming in with the scroll wheel to where you had just that menu button there. And it
Yep.
worked once or twice for me, but then it also at times didn't work. So, not
It's
a full.
finicky.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
it's really finicky. Oh, Resident wants a CCU his Aurora. I would definitely recommend if you CCU your Aurora, maybe consider, depending on how big of a jump you want to make, look at the Titan. The Titan is a great ship and a good all arounder. If you want to go a little bit more on the budget, definitely consider the Cuddy Black. That will definitely do you very well and even more of an all arounder in the fact that it can carry a Cyclone, a rock, and do a lot of different things. Yeah, there are tons of mission bugs, and that's for us right now. The biggest one we're seeing are the bounties, the mining. If you go out and do mining, some of the UI on the scanning is not working correctly, but you can always use the mining mode to get the correct information on the rocks that you're finding. So thankfully, there's an alternative there. But I mean, being that it's an alpha, definitely have to expect that there's going to be bugs there, and it's a matter of getting them reported. Make sure if you're finding these things, contribute to or put in an issue council report. Definitely helps everything 100% because the more issue gets verification, the more likely they're going to be able to address it.
Here,
And
here.
yeah, definitely. And Cuddy also for mining with cat seems cool. Yeah, yeah, it does. The rock and the Cuddy go well together for the mining. So other things that we got, of course, the drop weapons, and when you're swapping them, you could drop the weapon while you're trying to switch it. I've definitely seen that, and as always, the infinite load screen, which is one I don't think we're ever going to see go away. It seems like something new causes it every single patch. So again, new features: Redeemer, the Ares Starfighter, the Anvil Spartan, which is a new APC, which is straight to drivable with the IAE. We have the volumetric clouds, which look absolutely gorgeous from a distance. A little granular when you get up close to them, but it still looks amazing and far, far surpasses what they had there before. We have the new Artemex armor purchasable at PO in Lorville. There's some rumors going around that right now, the ones that we've seen have the blue laser. Of course, Hurston Security has the red laser eyes and trim. Um, there may be another color. Can't verify it. Haven't seen it, but we know that we at least got those two. You have to steal the one off the Hurston Security Guards to get the red. I haven't found if we can buy the red anywhere. The blue you can definitely buy out there at PO and at Tammany and Sons. And rumor has it someplace on New Babbage, but I haven't been able to verify that myself. Of course, that's the Cureness armor that they talked about on Inside Star Citizen with the hoses, and it is gorgeous.
So there's was the heavy armor in 315 or did that come in 315-1?
Heavy armor came in with 315. No, it came in with 315, and that is the semi puffy. It's something I can't pronounce.
Because of that N.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then of course
Warmex.
and we got the RRS with 315, and then this is kind of like the in between variant of those two.
Yeah,
So
this
the
this is the medium armor. The other there's the heavy, and then there was the light.
yeah, that heavy. Oh, you're gonna give yourself a heart attack running around in that thing, but it carries three guns, carries 4 grenades, and it is definitely heavy armor. So, which definitely we'll talk about heavy armor here with Star Citizen Live, because definitely some things that could be coming down the line that will definitely play a part in people's decision as to what to wear or how many sets of armor that they're going to keep. So, and Resident, yeah, the design on the F7's Hornet is really nice. I prefer the F8. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. Of course, the last of the new features, medical downstate repolish, and also the rescaled shields for less dramatic difference between the different sizes and the grades. And that brings us to bug fixes, which they did do a lot of bug fixes. And remember that this is just a small part of what was on the patch notes. There's actually quite a bit more, but check that out. You can get to it from the RSI main page. They did fix the character customizations, and with this one, you have to remember that if you get in and your character customization did not take and it's still stuck on that default that you saw with 315, you have to do a character reset to get it to reset itself. And once you don't do that, you won't have any issues after that. So I did my character reset, and my customizations have stayed ever since then. Even if I went in and changed it each day, they're staying just no problem. They also fixed an issue keeping people from looting personal inventory of a down player. So now you're going to be able to, if you find somebody down, get into their personal inventory and take stuff. They also fixed the shield hole that was on the Argo mole, and I'm not even sure where that was because I don't ever fly a mole, so I'm not sure where the shield hole was. But they fixed it, and lethal takedowns can now incapacitate, and they're not going to automatically insta kill people. And they fixed the headless effect after release from Klesher. They also fixed the issue when equipped, all would attach fruit to your magazine slots instead of magazines. Which, that would probably be helpful if you're going into a firefight. Fruit is going to do you no good unless you're going to throw it at them. And I don't think you're going to win doing that. Medical beacons are now completing correctly, and depositing gems in Klesher should no longer give the transaction error, and the black screens where fog should not be there anymore. I think we've all seen that at some point. And then on the technical side of things, they did get 10 client crashes, 6 server crashes, and a main thread deadlock all taken care of, which is always good to hear that they're catching those things. So lots of information there. Like I said, check the notes out for yourself for the more in-depth version. But so far, 315.1 has been like butter smooth. I think we had one server freeze up on us the other night and got back in, but in the time, I haven't had any issues outside of that, other than a couple of these things like with the bounty missions. How's it been going for you guys?
It stutters a bit in New Babbage just because of the amount of players there right now. But Tainted and I were on what 7 hours straight today,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with no crashes, no. I mean, I had a lockup at the end where I crashed the desktop, but outside of that, we managed to wreck a couple ships without any help from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it's running pretty smooth. I mean, some of the ASOPs are running a little slow, and trying to get a landing pad can be a little slow if you're near New Babbage or maybe Everest. But other than that, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, and actually, Resin made a point that bed logouts seem to be working better now than they did in 314, which I've heard that from other people as well too, that they've done multiples without issues. Of course, we know that in the last few streams, Anroll has been having an issue getting out of bed at New Babbage and falling out of the building somehow. It only happens to him. I don't know why. He just the only one that rolls out of the wrong side of the bed and rolls through the wall and falls to his death. So, not sure how to help him with that one.
Don't get up on the wrong side of the bed.
I was just gonna say left-handed or something.
I have no idea. And Ingvar, what's going on? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. And been a while since we've seen you, but glad to have you here. And Kill Devils joined us as well too. All right, so that brings us to the roadmap roundup and some information here that came out. I'm going to let J Scale go ahead and go over that with you guys.
Alrighty. So they had a little note saying that they are beginning to schedule stuff into Q3 2022. So we should hear more stuff about what's coming later next year since they already started populating the first 2 quarters. Added to the progress tracker, solar burst. This is actually going to be a solar flare coming from uh, one of the stars around Pyro, not just Pyro, but where we'll most likely see it first. Basically, something that you're going to have to try to hide behind something so you don't. I don't know if it's going to completely damage your, like blow your ship up, but they suggest you get out of the way.
Yeah.
Flak, I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I would imagine it'd be much like an EMP. It could possibly just knock you dead and leave you drifting.
True, because it's traveling at 15% the speed of light,
Mm-hmm.
which we don't. Uh, flak ammunition. It's just concentrated bursts of shrapnel to cause damage in an area. They talked about this. Was it Star Citizen Live or Inside Star Citizen just 2 weeks ago, week
Yeah.
ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was
Um,
the sprint report, possibly.
yeah, trying to balance out some of the larger ship combat stuff. Fill the sky with flak so the fighters have a little more things to deal with other than just dodging bullets. Graviton physics rework, improve field and stability. John Crew actually mentioned this about was it the Nox he was talking about back during CitizenCon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to make that something less terrifying. Drake Cutlass is going to gold standards sometime, apparently, whenever this is. I didn't look at the card. Placed back onto the progress tracker after being temporarily removed was prone. So that's improving movement when players are lying down.
Yep.
Removed temporarily. They got rid of long distance probes. Hangar Manager app version 1, which was supposed to come in Q1, I think,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of sad. I was hoping to see that. Bounty Hunter version 2, the RSI links, which I don't ever remember seeing that on the progress tracker, but whatever. Added to release view. These are committed for 316, which means they've passed their internal checks and they're going to be in the actual release next whenever 316 comes out next month. Area 18 Hospital, derelict ships POI or Deerlick, Dying Star map update for Arena Commander, the Gravlev physics rework we just talked about, laser trip mines tier 0, and then the Misk Hull C was supposed to come out next month, but they moved it to 318 to give it more time. I think based on some of the comments I saw on Reddit from one of the guys, one of the SIG guys, I think they're having issues with the expanding, collapsing geometry of the whole Hull series.
Yeah, I can see that giving them a hard time.
And then cargo refactor has been added to 318, which we were wondering about that because of the tier 1 salvage or tier 0 salvage that's coming as well. So.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much for the sub there, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Resident. All right. So a lot more than a few things on there. Some things that, and the prone improving movement of players in down position. If you watched the stream from IAE earlier today, it literally looked like when somebody, it was Anrol and I think Cryo were on their stomachs backing up and their legs and arms were flailing around like wet spaghetti. I mean, it looked like something just took the bones out of their body and they were just whipping around all over. So yeah, definitely need a little bit of work there. I'm not too surprised about the hangar manager because if they're slating the cargo refactor for 318, I would imagine that that's pretty much going to tie all into that cargo refactor.
Well, they didn't remove persistent hangars, which is still on for 317.
True.
So Hangar Manager app is just replacing our current what's that called? The current
Ship,
vehicle manager.
yeah, the ship manager.
Yeah.
So
Which could use some love. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of a bum.
yeah,
Just a little
and
bit.
I did the video on the prospector, and I could have sworn previously you were able to do it, but now they've got it completely locked down. If you rent a prospector, you cannot even put a surge consumable on that mining vessel to use while you're mining. I knew they blocked out the ability to change the mining head, but yeah, you can't even put a module on there. It just locks the ship out as read only, and you you can't do anything with it. So
Yeah, it's painful.
I could have sworn at one point I did rent one and I was able to put modules on it. So, but we got that video corrected and everything from that video was still mineable without it. You could still break it all down. Took a couple extra minutes to build the gauge up. So everything is still relevant in that video. So check that out. It's over on the YouTube. But yeah, not really too much surprising on the whole sea though, and it's nice to see that the cargo refactor is coming though.
Yes.
So, and doing some cargo runs last night, it didn't seem really at all bad. I mean, I know a few people that would probably complain about it, but I would almost chalk it up to it was working the way it was probably intended. I went to Bezdek and Lathan and got there. Everything, there was a Carrack on the landing pad and there was a dead body on the ground. It looked like he filled up his ship and coming out of the hab, coming down the stairs, he just died. And we know that that's all happened to many of us coming out of there. And I left him alone. I didn't loot him or anything, but I went in. There was no laranite. There was no titanium. So I headed over to Bezdek to see what they had. I was able to pick up a little bit there and then went back to Lathan. I was able to get a little bit of laranite there and top off. So it seems like the server cycles are refreshing the available inventory in the different areas that you're buying stuff. It's a little bit of a wait. It's like 10 minutes. It's not bad, but you're not able to land and just fill everything in one shot and go. So it does take a little bit of time, but cargo is not supposed to be a quick land. Everything gets filled to the top with the most expensive stuff and go sell it in 5 minutes. I think that it's showing that it's actually working, but once they get this refactor in, I think it'll definitely improve it. But cargo, I would say, is feasible and profitable again. I made about 140,000 on 2 runs last night.
Nice.
So
That's not bad at all.
no, and that's mostly titanium. So, all right. So as always, we talk about Inside Star Citizen, and again, I have to drool over the Pico slippers. I just hope to God when I get mine that Baxter doesn't eat the heads off of them. He does not like stuffed animals. But they went over a lot of different stuff here. And of course, they went over the new straight to drivable, the Spartan. This is the Armored Troop Transport APC that's built on the Atlas chassis. They really kind of felt that there was one area that was lacking with ground transportation. You know, if, with the way the weather's going and anti-aircraft and all that, there's going to be times that you may need to take approach from the ground instead of from the air. So that's what brought this on. It's actually got dual side entrances with a rear loading ramp. It's carries up to 8 troops plus all their gear, but even they stated that there's plenty of standing room. Pack as many people in there as you can and should be able to carry them no problem. It's definitely fast. It's got a single driver seat and it's equipped with 2 GT215 Scorpion Gatling guns on top. But this is where I think it gets hurt a little bit, is that gun does not have a remote turret operator. So it's only on the driver, which is going to make it difficult when you have one person driving and has to operate the guns. It would have been nice to see them put a remote operation on that turret so that you could defend yourself if you're, say, running from a ship and you have to pay attention to where you're driving at the same time as trying to shoot back. Initially, the ladders on the side don't work. They're not going to allow you to get on the roof, but it is intended that those will work at one point and you'll be able to climb on top because they see that there's a function with enabling that people will be able to use that space up there for different things. Probably more people throw them up there or throw some people up there with an animus or even a grenade launcher. Other than that, I looked at the Q&A on it. There really was not a whole lot in the Q&A about it. A lot of the questions that were asked were covered in the video. And again, it's a Q&A that came out the same time as the vehicle when nobody knew the vehicle was coming out. So who are they Q&Ing? Other than their own development team. So I think they kind of just asked the most, common things that they usually see. Is it going to have a bed to log out from? Is it going to have different capabilities and shields and all that. What are its shields? Everything is going to be size 0 on it. And me though, I've driven it. I love it. I think it's a great little troop carrier, and I think it's going to be something that we're going to definitely make a lot of use out of. And I know you picked it up, J Scale.
Yeah, yeah, it seems pretty tough. I mean, I haven't the little test we did there where you know, we dropped them with Moabs. They seemed to survive all the blasts and everything. Well, one of them did anyway.
Yeah, H3 was able to drive away. Mando did not exactly make it out, and of course, Moxie in the 400i was completely incinerated. But Mando did get a good picture. He put in the screenshots of what it looks like when you're about to be incinerated by a Moab, and his screen actually went all gray. Everything got blurry, and all you could see out of the windshield of the Spartan was the flames coming at it. So it was actually a pretty cool screenshot he got. So check that out if you're on our Discord. It was definitely a great shot that Mando, I give credit for getting there. He sacrificed his life for a good cause. Moab and Spartan testing.
Yeah, I accidentally I hit H3 with the ion cannon while he was falling, and the Spartan took the hit. So it's a pretty solid ride.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is. It's got armored sides, so I mean it's going to be well protected. It's going to be a tough little buggy to drive around on. So
I just wish the seats in the back weren't hard fixed seats. I wish they were fold up seats.
yeah, that was one question that was on the QA about those seats, and I can kind of see your point. It would be easier if they were fold up, create more standing room. I saw in the Q&A people were asking also about fitting vehicles in there, which obviously is not going to be an option. I would imagine we'll find a way to shove a POA Knox in
Yeah.
there if we can.
Yeah, that'd be
Well,
great.
and I wasn't thinking more so like hauling vehicles. I was thinking more like cargo. You know,
Yeah.
bodies from bunkers.
Yeah, I don't think it really has any dedicated cargo space.
It doesn't, but you could still like cram stuff in there because there's a door to protect you up front. So
Yeah,
even if the cargo moves around, you're
yeah,
fine.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, hell, even the Redeemer got 2 SCU of cargo space. So,
Yeah, right. It's a little closet.
oh, yeah, I think there's some people that are very upset about that and don't feel that two SCU is adequate. So, which brings us to the other part of Inside Star Citizen with the Redeemer, which we've covered in depth over the last couple of weeks, of course. And this was the Inside Star Citizen that they really went in depth with it with the developers. Talking about how it's been reworked a number of times. It was obviously the player designed and concepted ship that they took and built off of that from the contest that they ran. God, back in the day, I think it was like somewhere around 2015 or earlier that that contest ran. But it started out as a combo gun and drop ship, and it moved to strictly just the gunship. Actually, and this is surprising. I didn't really see this, but they based the cockpit design off the Gladius. I can kind of see it in the way that the layout of the MFDs are, but the size of the ship, I would have never thought the Gladius would be an inspiration for that. But I can see their point with the visibility on it. And they wanted to make that key. It is heavily armed with multiple turrets, manned and remote, with a mix of laser and ballistic. The manned turrets are actually size 5, which are way more than adequate. It's got seating for 4 crew, and they did address this because with its release, there was really a split between people saying that it was perfect as far as its components and weapons and all that stuff. There was also a side that was saying should never have size 3 shields, should never have the large components. They came out and addressed that. That's how they designed it. It is supposed to have that, and it is supposed to be way over designed for its purpose. And I think they've done it to a point where it's great and it's definitely on the OP side, but I would not call it meta because maneuverability and all that, you get into anything that has anything, I would even say a Harbinger could outmaneuver this thing, and it's not going to be able to keep up as far as turns, banks, rolls, keeping the sights on the target and all that. So that's where it's going to suffer its defeat is when it goes up against something more maneuverable, which there's a lot out there more maneuverable than this. I kind of agree with them though. I like it the way it is. I think they built an extremely good ship here. And I couldn't be happier with it. But they also went into the hab area with the fully stocked fridge and the 4 combo beds with the escape pods, the 2 SEU of cargo that we talked about, and of course they're talking about future advanced movement in the thrusters or the nutcrackers. Some pivoting or some angling that's going to be available there in future animations. Right now they've got it to where they open, they close based on your speed, but they want to extend that to maybe a little bit of side to side motion or angling there. I think that would definitely add to the aesthetics of it. But and again, they purposely address the whole, it's built bigger than what it should be thing, and I don't see an issue with it.
I think it's a lot of fun. We took out J Scales this morning and ran some hammerhead bounties in it, and it took a beating, and it got the job done throughout. Really, we ended up losing some weapons on the last one, but other than that, it was solid.
Was that picture in the screenshot that I saw that all it was left was the cockpit?
Yeah, like the whole right side is gone.
Yeah, I'd say that's a little bit more than a few weapons.
We still had some weapons. We were still fighting just like that.
Yeah, it was combat effective,
Yeah.
still. It just
No.
it leaned a little bit.
That ship will it'll take a beating. Like I was just sitting there. The shields were soaking up the hits from the hammerhead while Tainted was in the turret. But I think the damage on the side of the ship was from a Vanguard.
Yeah.
A Vanguard kept swiping real close to us, and at one point we got moved, and I think that's when we lost that whole right side. The Nutcracker, all of it's gone.
Yeah, and which obviously last week we talked about that they're going to be looking into the AI's abusive attacks with the ramming and all that. So that's coming in the future. But yeah, I looked at that picture. I thought somebody landed a Herald.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Now the left side was still functional. It's just if I tried to roll, I can't remember if it was to the right or to the left, it would just continue to roll because there was nothing over there to counteract the force.
Well, at least you survived. I would imagine the other guy didn't.
Oh no, we cleared them all.
Oh, there you go. That's all that matters. And Resident, yes, the Redeemer is definitely a tank. And I would almost say that I would probably put my money on that over the Prowler for sure. Oh,
You
okay.
definitely want 2 people in the turrets. You
Oh,
want
yeah.
man turrets manned.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, your remote turrets, I wouldn't worry too much about. They're smaller guns, but you got to have those 2 size 5s manned if at all possible, especially if you're going into any real firefight. If you're just doing PvE bounties to a single target, you'll be fine by yourself. But yeah, if you're doing anything more than that, having those turrets manned is definitely extremely helpful.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they also did point out that the guns on those turrets were brought in specifically for the Redeemer. Well, let me rephrase that. They weren't brought in specifically for the Redeemer. They're just debuting on the Redeemer. So those ADB5s, or I think it's like A5DB, those are going to be available for other ships. It's not something that's solely intended for the Redeemer itself. So that's going to introduce a new Gatling gun down the line once those hit center mass and all that too. And of course, we had Star Citizen Live. This one, actually, I found this more interesting than some of the last couple that we saw. They even poked fun at Richard about his love of swords. And a lot of information really, really fast. And a lot of just in-depth, kind of back-end kind of information as far as the FPS features team. And these are the guys that pretty much handle everything in concepting and working with the FPS interactions. They went over some salvage and hand salvage, the ability to salvage the items using the multi-tool, the ability to do hull stripping, which is going to be basically start with a tier 0 using that cutting tool and all that. It's going to create a generic type of material that you're going to be able to use repair your own ship. Eventually down the line, you'll actually be able to single out specific materials. You'll also down the line be able to look for specific components to take out and reuse that component in another ship. So there's going to be some deeper gameplay into it, and the hand salvaging is going to be the first tier of salvaging that's going to lead all into the Vulture, the Reclaimer, and all of that. But it's going to start out at a base level, obviously. It when you use this material to actually patch your ship and repair it, it's going to be a patchwork ship. You're not going to be able to have it look the same before it was damaged. You're going to be putting a sheet of metal over some bullet holes, welding it on there, and you're going to see that patch when you go in and land. So I would assume that my ships are going to be looking like checkerboards if I can even get the chance to repair them. But this is at least some further information on salvage. Salvage is one of those things that has just been on the roadmap, taken off, put on, taken off. And now we're getting some more information on it as we continue to move forward, trying to get to that point where we'll see it in game. What was your thoughts on the salvaging stuff there?
Um, y- I agree with you. There was actually a lot of good information on this. The salvage tier 0, like you said, it's just going to be the generic material, but that's the Vulture's also going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, it won't be able to do the repairs, but then they did say like the dedicated salvage tool right now, and I guess the first iteration of it, it will be able to just have larger capacity than the multi-tool.
Hmm.
But eventually, when they get into the more advanced stuff of stripping specific materials, it'll excel at all that stuff, I guess. Whereas the multi-tool might not be able to do it at all.
Right.
And then the other thing that I thought was interesting was there was a question asked from the chat that said, can we remove components from ships and sell them? They said they're looking at that for a stretch goal for tier 0. So
Hmm.
that may be available, when we actually get salvage in 3.18, 3.16. When are we getting
I
that?
think it was 318 because they
Okay.
pushed tier 0 again a couple of roadmap roundups ago. But that's correct. They did say that the ability to sell the components eventually will come on, but they're also going to give you the ability when you hull strip to sell what you strip. You don't have to use it only for your own repairs. You're going to be able to sell that as well too eventually.
Yeah, if we can sell,
Yeah, yeah. Once we get that selling capability in there.
because we got quite a bit of armor stacking up.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, and one good thing about this though is Drake ships will actually look factory fresh, because that's what Drake uses.
What? When does Drake ever look factory fresh? Means the duct tape hasn't been written on
Well,
for torque specs yet.
yeah, I mean it's the factory material that they're using is already salvaged, right? So I mean it's going to match in fine. It's going to look great.
It'll finally fit in.
Nothing against
Well,
great Drake ships. I like them.
and I just, if you live in the northern states in the United States, you're used to road salt eating away
Yes.
in the rust holes being bondoed up, and so you just see cars driving around with these big kind of off white
Pink.
grayish,
Pink.
yeah, and pink, yep, and pink
Right. Right. Yep.
patches
Yep.
all over the cars. That's what I'm going to see is just ships flying around with these big ugly patches on them. So
Oh yeah, definitely. You bring up the Drake thing, it makes me worry about my Kraken. Am I going to have a ship behind me picking up parts that are falling off of it?
there you go.
Let's see. Resident design on the Reclaimer is impressive. Yes. And it is not impressive when you try to fly it off the surface of planet, though. But I will deal with that for me having my Reclaimer.
And you'll be able to try it tomorrow. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I have the Reclaimer.
No. I meant Resident.
Oh, yeah, Resident. You're going to be able to rent the Reclaimer tomorrow and fly it yourself. That's for sure.
Give it a go.
Oh, yeah. So, of course, they also talked about the interacts on the menu selection with the F key, some complaints and concerns on the complications when menus get too long, over 3 selections, issues with getting it to select the right thing. I've definitely experienced go to click one thing and something moves and you end up clicking something else. And it's really a pain in the backside, especially when looting. The floating text was not the intended way to interact with things. It wasn't the end all be all for the interactions, and they are working on a default action for different things in the future, and that default actions will be mappable based on what you're doing as well too. And also possibly talking about the introduction of right click to select what you want to do with it, as well as some other type of menu interaction versus the floating text to make it a little bit easier for people. So it was nice to see them address that. It is one of the smaller things in game that can get frustrating, but not as much as the bigger issues that people deal with on a daily basis. And then they did discuss the weapon reloads, uh, the possibility that you're going to see different armor suits being able to recharge energy weapon mags. Because right now we know that we're going to be able to steal ballistic weapon ammo and refill our own mags, or we're going to be able to do other actions to get more ammo into the magazines that we have. Of course, energy, there is no ammo, it's all batteries. So there's going to be a recharge function that is going to be looked into. And this ties into a lot with like the different armor archetypes that we're going to talk about down the sheet here. But definitely a lot of information and a lot of thought going into something as simple as weapon reloads. And again, they also stressed during this that the goal was to take it to realistic, make it believable, and then dial it back to fun. Um, and this is getting real in depth with this, and we know that immersion has always been a thing for Chris Roberts and Star Citizen, and they are definitely going for the whole ball of wax here. Um, what's your guys' thought on weapon weapon reloading?
I think it's cool that we'll be able to finally, like, you get done with a fight and you've got a clip that has 2 bullets left in it. I think it'll be cool to finally be able to collect up those, like partially used clips and consolidate them into, full clips. But this segment, when this guy was talking about when they got into like the wear and tear and the dirt and durability and HP, and I was like, oh my god, where are we going with this, dude?
Oh yeah, talking about the breakdown of the gun, you got to take. It almost made it sound like they're going to make us have to clean guns every time we come back from a mission.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they went into a whole, yeah, there was a lot of thought put into this, and when you talk about dialing it back so that it's fun, I think they're gonna be finding that they're gonna have to dial some stuff back here. But
I think so too. I mean, if you look at other FPS games, I mean, most of the time your weapon's low on ammo. You walk over a body, there's clips on the ground. You walk over it, it collects it for you. It automatically puts that into your inventory and usability. But now, if you're going to have to stop and then take that half full magazine, another half full magazine, combine them in an inventory menu or something like that to make one full magazine, people just aren't going to bother. They're just going to be like, I'm just not even going to pick it up. I'll just go buy more magazines and basically empty this one out, especially if they're in the middle of a fight.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, I think that's what happens a lot. I was just running the 890 jump mission 3 times in a row the other day, and I kept running into issues with just getting the bullets into the gun to begin with. So I'm glad that they're focusing on it. I hope that they, like you guys said, getting it back to the fun.
Yeah, and that brings us on to other things they talked about, along with the weapon reload questions, is like Jay Scale had mentioned, the durability, the wear and tear on the gun, the fact that eventually it's going to deplete and you're going to have misfires, you're going to have to clear jams, the point to where it can get so bad the gun just explodes in your hand because it's so dirty. And again, that's where I get into it. Almost sound like they're going to expect us to come back and go through some kind of cleaning function or put in a cabinet to be cleaned or something like that to keep the guns in proper condition. And that may be going a little too far, but I think that's something they want to test. We'll check it out, see how it goes. Of course, they've usually been fairly good, or even the community has been good about finding ways around it if they want to avoid it. But they've also been good about dialing things back when they realize they've taken things too far. But there was a lot of stuff in that weapons reload part I'd never even realized or thought that they would ever go into.
yeah, well, just the plasma versus energy weapons, and he was talking about how overheating and how depending on what biome you're in, the air pressure can affect it, and
Air
if you're on a
temp.
really, yeah, if you're on a really cold planet, you may be able to just keep firing your weapon until it's out of charge, and it won't overheat. And I was just like, I get all that, but wow, dude.
Yeah, and there is such a thing as too in depth, and getting too in depth is what's going to stretch the development of this game from where we're at now, where we might see something in 3 to 5 years, to we're going to be sitting here 10 years from now, and they're still going to be trying to figure out how a negative 10 Celsius degree temperature outside can cool the gun down one more degree to keep it firing.
Yeah.
There's a point at which it becomes too much, and
Well,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. I was just gonna say, Jared did interject and say, if you go prone, like dive into the dirt, because they were talking about armor too, right? Getting
Yeah,
dirty and it getting worn out. It's not going to be like the HP of your armors drop by 10%. It's going to take a while, but they didn't go into details around that.
yeah,
But
and I will say one other interjection that Jared had during this, and again, talking about the length of development and all that, is I think he kind of picked up that people are going to start thinking that this was never going to get out of development, because he even stopped them at one point to make the fact that even after this goes beta, pre-release, release, and all that, there are still going to be updates coming out. There's still going to be new content coming out. There's still going to be updates coming out. So not all of this stuff they're talking about is slated or dependent on this thing moving out of alpha into a release. And I think he picked up on the fact that people might start thinking the wrong way, that all this stuff they're talking about and the depth that they're going to was all things being added before actual release. And he stepped in on that one to make it known that it's going to keep being developed even after we do that, and these are things that will probably come along in those areas.
well, I think what triggered him was one of the developers said, "Yeah, in 5 years when this comes out."
Yeah, he said something about in
Ouch.
3 to 5 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you know how they hate time frames. Don't ever quote a time frame during an
yeah.
interview.
I'm pretty sure chat was exploding at that point.
Oh yeah, because in 2.5 years from now, somebody will be like, 2.5 years ago, you said 3 years, and here's the clip that you said that, and now you're not doing it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that I think scared him. So,
Sandworms.
usually it's yeah, sandworms. Usually it's Jared getting in trouble, as he made the comment that they lost another sponsor when he badmouthed Norton antivirus.
That was funny though.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was.
hilarious.
They did get into the fireman's carry. They have been talking about and discussing fireman's carry, something outside of body dragging. Body dragging was supposed to be short term. They are looking at something similar to fireman's carry for a more long range movement style to carry a team player or something like that. And they're also looking into the way that can be worked into the stealth gameplay, with being able to throw a dead body over a railing into a pit, or be able to shove them in a box somewhere, so that it can be implemented into that stealth. Which brings us to hacking. Hacking is definitely a very popular topic for a lot of people, because it is potential for some, again, very immersive gameplay. And again, I think some of the things they got into here go on the expanded post release, as far as what their goal is in the end to get this to. Currently, right now, hacking is being used with the Tiger's Claw. It's the only hacking chip available in the verse right now. You interact with a panel, you go through the prompts on the screen. They want to basically introduce a handheld device that's going to work wirelessly, and it's going to kind of be like, ammo for hacking different devices. It's going to be their goal, as they put it, a 3D visualization of the network that you can go in and manipulate. It's going to be pretty much a mini game where you're going through trying to figure out the best course that will allow you to complete the hack, looking for weak points, introducing a virus or a Trojan horse into the system, and connecting those two to break the system to make it do what you want it to do. And there's going to be varying levels of difficulty. It's going to be playable through that 3D environment or through a command prompt, which I think, again, this is the command prompt thing, maybe something a little further down the line. Uh, Different bonuses are going to be available for doing the command prompt over the other way, and some extra things that you can earn from doing that. And of course, they address why would you hack? Whether it's to gain access to a computer system, obviously your crime stats like we do now, opening up locked doors that has something valuable in the room on the other side, or gaining control of a computer that you want access to. And this one, I'd heard it talked about before, but they also talked about the PvP aspect. And this could introduce another level of PvP in which you can hack another player's ship. And you can shut off the engines, you can shut off the shields, you can do different things like that. They did talk about the antivirus aspect of it that, if you hack a system, you're going to have to go up against an antivirus that's going to try to stop you. Or if you're, say, hacking into another player's ship, they're going to be able to go in if the antivirus isn't able to take you out, that they're going to be able to go in and combat you on the network to try to keep you from gaining access. So again, an introduction into that PvP element, which, PvP is part of the game and I'm all for that. Make it immersive. I I'm not sure how I feel about a 3D environment where you go in and you have to, either, fight them in a 3D environment is going to be like the astral plane from the X-Men comics where you're doing battle is astral projections is, samurai warriors trying to kill each other on the network. Who knows?
Yeah.
This is of course something that's been long awaited though. So, what's your guys' take on the hacking?
It can wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right now it's very basic, and I know people have really been getting ticked off about it getting moved on the roadmap. They want it introduced, but these are definitely like with the weapons, very, very, very in depth, detailed, immersive things that are going to introduce a whole nother aspect to things.
Yep.
It will, and the thing you said about the hacking device is that it's going to use the hacking chips we use today are going to be like ammo for the
Yeah,
hacking device. But the thing that I'm most concerned about is the PvP element of it.
that's
Just
what
look at
most concerns me too.
what they did with the medical gun and just walking around drugging people till they passed out and died.
Yeah,
I it's one of those things where I think they're just the people are going to find it and they're going to drive the point home with Sig, and the rest of us are going to not be able to play in the PU or the PTU while they're doing their
yeah,
thing.
and we know that they will take it to extremes. There are people out there that, and usually the Star Citizen community is a amazing community, full of wonderful people. But as with any game, we have that small segment that they do want to just make life miserable and watch the world burn. And much like with the medical guns, I think this definitely gives another kind of course of action they can take to really mess with people just to be messing with them. I'm all for piracy. If you want to blockade a station, ask for money for me to pull in and refine my materials after mining. If I pay you, you let me buy. If I don't pay you, negotiate with me for a reduced price. That's all good. But when you're purposely going out trying to make the game unplayable for somebody and no other reason other than for you to have a good laugh, then yeah, that's crossing the line. And I think this just introduces that ability to even take that to another level.
Well, and the PvP portion of it, I can see it being fun if you were, doing like fleet battles or something, and you were trying to take over somebody else's ship
Right.
using a boarding party and whatnot. But yeah, it's the abuse side that I'm worried about.
Yeah, and that raises a lot of question. Is this going to be something that you're going to have to be on board their ship to do, or you already know it connects wirelessly? Are you going to be able to do it from a certain distance away from your own ship and try to hack into theirs wirelessly?
Well, yeah, and that's I think. Well, how do you could stop it by going and taking out a comms relay,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
or something. So it raises a lot of questions, and I think right now we have to get to the next step after the chips that we're using now. But one thing with this segment is that they did really go into very long term goals with it, and hopefully they'll catch, the weak points and the breaking points on this before they get there and develop a way to keep it under management from being abused.
Yeah, 100%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it could add a really neat component, to like removing your crime stat, just a simple hack like that. But it could also just create so much strife for even a new player, somebody who's just jumping into the verse.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are people that, with the medical gun and other things they've done in the past that with these free flies, people have gotten in, they've had a bad experience because of things like what went on with the medical gameplay, and they won't return because that's their impression of what the Star Citizen universe is. It's just a bunch of people like on some of the servers you see for GTA 5. All they want to do is just make it impossible for anybody to play, and they want it to be their server, and no one's going to do anything that they don't allow them to do. And
Yeah.
I'm sure they've lost a number of players for that. So it's definitely, there's been times that even I've been affected by it, and it's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna play for a week because obviously these guys are just gonna, while a free fly is going on, gonna be out there making things worse than they already do. So,
Yep.
which in turn leads to lost revenue for CIG, and I can't imagine it's an exorbitant amount, but they do try to do their best to take care of the players. But this one, I think that on some occasions they've missed out on. So hopefully they don't on this one.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll see.
Yeah, time will tell. That's pretty much with most of the stuff how everything is, because these are all long-term future goals.
I just didn't like how excited the team was getting. I'm like, get excited over some of the other stuff, will you?
Well, of course, some of the other stuff they got into was the select all for looting. Some questions that had been asked online about being able to, instead of having to move each thing individually, can't you just loot all and have it? They are working on that. That has been discussed. Also looking at a way to, if you put scopes or suppressors and things on your guns, be able to look in your inventory and already see what peripherals are added onto that gun so you know which one to grab. Like me, I've got 5 FS9s. I've got one with a scope and a suppressor on it. I don't have that on my other ones. It's not easy to tell which one is which. They also talked about the ammo types with the plasma and the incendiary, and if damage effects over an area that can do prolonged exposure and damage to somebody in that area, is setting fire to the ground or putting a layer of plasma down that creates a hazardous zone, forcing people out of cover. So that's something that they're working on, as well as disarray, which ties into more systems coming, such as the armor archetypes and the power systems. And that kind of goes back to the whole EMP system that's on ships currently. They talked about weapon behaviors and characteristics. They are doing the weapons audit right now, and it's being conducted, going through, checking out all the different things, seeing what they can improve on, and make the weapons more interesting and unique based on their type and manufacturer. They want to make the LH86 pistol a machine pistol. The Arclight pistol can become a 3-round burst pistol, and things like that that they can do to make them more unique than just their one shot thing that they're going. So definitely some things there to look forward to. The other thing they got into was climbing and mounting, and that they're working a lot of different things there. The ledge grab, which I think will definitely be nice, because right now we can't exactly climb over some things that are only waist high. They're going to be looking at making those things more climbable and all that. And of course, they talked about whether we can pull weapons to modify an armistice. They said, we think you can do that now. It didn't sound like they were very confident. Obviously, you can modify them in the inventory menu by dragging the component onto the weapon. I can't say it worked perfectly for me, but if you equip the weapon on your person, of course, if you grab a scope, it'll put the circle on the weapon and you can move that onto the weapon and it'll equip it onto it. But you're not actually going to be able to pull the weapon out in your hand to do this. And really, they acknowledge that there's really not a good way to be able to pull out a weapon in an armistice or green zone and they don't have a way to really deal with it right now. So they did address that. They did talk about non-lethal and melee weapons, and they're working on a taser currently, which is going to be a non-lethal item that's going through the content process, and we'll probably be seeing that in the game in the future. Kind of like the Aztec arms, except it's not going to kill, something similar to pull it back for a different level of stun. And at least all the systems are in place for the weapon, but again, it's still a work in progress. We did find out Jared likes baseball bats, as he stated to everybody. Played through Cyberpunk, he said, with just a bat.
And the team kept saying no bats, and he pointed out that there was a bat in the CitizenCon footage of Pyro, one of the stations.
Yes, and actually, and this, if Bright Shadow's out there watching, or if he watches this one will get him excited because he's been asking for swords. They did address that there is a possibility that swords or axe or other melee handheld items are going to come into the game in the future. So definitely more options there. I would imagine that this could even lead into, if you run out of ammo in a bunker mission, you could possibly grab, they may even make it to where you can grab a pipe, or there might be melee weapons around in, normal everyday items that you'll be able to implement into a weapon like a Citizen Con trophy and be able to take some people out with that.
Sure.
So, but they are working with the animation, and that's definitely going to be in the future, and that's on their radar. This brings us to the armor effects based on size, and we kind of mentioned this. The differences between light, medium, and heavy armor, and how you can interact with different environments based on what you're wearing. They specifically said when you look at heavy armor, flying should be more difficult because of the thick gloves and the clunkiness of your armor. They're looking to implement it where there's going to be benefits to changing your armor as you're doing different things. And they brought up flying specifically that, hey, you get back to your ship, take the heavy armor off, put on a light or medium armor so that you have better control and better accessibility to the flight controls. And again, this is getting into way too in-depth category, the same as everything, because I don't think a lot of people are going to want to go do mining, wear one set of armor, then go do bounties, and they want to do an FPS mission in a bunker, so they put on heavy armor. Then they have to get out, get on their ship, change their armor, then they can take off because they can now work the controls and go to another bunker mission where they're going to have to get out of the pilot seat, change their armor again because they're going into another bunker. Again, it's getting down that line of maybe dial it back a little bit. It may be getting too in depth at that point.
Yeah, it could just take it just a little too far to where, also to where just certain game loops don't work well. If I throw on some armor and then I'm going to go hop into a fighter, well, I don't even have the ability to carry extra armor with me. So you could get into
Yeah.
situations where you're like going back to a station just to go do something for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And Cryo even points out he basically rocks a flight suit unless he's actually going on a combat mission. That's true. I know several
Sure.
people that do that.
Well, and Chris Roberts has been very adamant about not being allowed to like run around in your heavy armor, and if you are, really making it a huge penalty. Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and in a lot of ways, and even right now, there is penalties in there. You're not as fast. Your heart rate goes up. I think I almost passed out as my character the other night because I had to stop because I was almost in cardiac arrest. So I mean, we do have some cons right now with wearing the heavy armor as it is.
The heavy breathing.
Yeah, the heavy breathing, your health can deteriorate, things like that. But I mean, I could understand maybe take a backpack off so that you can sit in the seat and fly, or maybe have it to where you can remove the gloves, and because most pilots wear, glove liners. I don't know. But I think, like you said, they were getting very excited about things, and I think they definitely went into a very much down the line and a very in-depth aspect to this. Because it also brought in the different armors and the different sizes. They talked about back in 2019 at CitizenCon when they talked about armor archetypes, combat, specialist, utilitarian, support, which is going to be like your power generation, which would be the ones that could recharge energy weapon batteries.
they were talking about the support armor like literally it was like a pack mule. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about the backpack having modularity and like, you know, that's the dude that's handing out the clips of ammo and the recharged batteries or just carrying nothing but med pens and just jabbing people as he goes around.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, the thing, and I think H3 was saying something in chat, and I was agreeing with him. But I think, and I think I was talking about this with Tainted, just the ability to set up a suit. Like this is what this is what I'm going to wear when I leave the ship, and interacting with like a one of the cabinets, one of the suit lockers or
Yep.
whatever, so you can switch between whatever you're going to wear on the ship, and then so it's instant. Because right now, I mean, it's very fiddly.
Yeah, it's very fiddly, it's very finicky, and I think they actually in this video they did mention about the interact with the different lockers, like what you have on the Carrack and Hammerhead that will be for suit storage, simplifying that interact to be able to change back and forth between them. I think they briefly really talked about utilizing those spaces. And I agree. If it was something where as you're walking out, you just go to the locker, hit change suit, and it just automatically flips your suit, and you weren't having to go through the inventory menu and each single piece and doing all that, then yeah, I would definitely say that I would probably be okay with swapping back and forth as long as it's as easy as that. But going into the way it is right now, it would be very time consuming.
Yeah,
It's
nobody changes.
especially if you're talking about, whatever you're going to put in your backpack. If you take a backpack and all that, it's just so many different things have to be changed.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're wearing heavy armor and you've got all the external slots filled,
Mm-hmm.
you would risk losing that stuff when you take it off and put it in your inventory. Sometimes it comes back out, but
Yeah,
sometimes it
Sometimes.
doesn't.
sometimes, not every
Yeah.
time. So
Well,
it'll
and if you land on like Clio, and you've got civilian clothes on, you're not wearing an armor suit, you're gonna freeze very fast.
oh yeah.
I stepped out on Microtech the other day, didn't realize I wasn't wearing a suit, and I ran out just onto the back deck, by the parking area on the ice there by the commons, and it hurt me, but I couldn't tell because I wasn't wearing a helmet.
Yeah, that's true. And that was another thing they brought up was with the helmets is the different HUD displays that you'll have on your helmets based on what archetype of suit that you're wearing. So, where with the support, you may see charge levels and oxygen readouts and atmospheric contents readouts and all that versus combat that's going to give you more combat based HUD displays. Getting into all those differences between what type of suit you're wearing. So, it's also going to probably push people more into that. If you're going to do combat, it's not going to be like here where I love my Ave Shrike armor and my paladin helmet, and that's what I like to wear no matter what I'm doing, at least until I lose it. You're going to have to really, to take advantage of whatever mission you're going on, change your armor into a type that is meant for that type of mission so that you can get the full display and information on your HUD that you should be getting to complete the mission.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot more, and we've always talked about that. They really want your actions and your decisions to make a difference, and this is definitely going down that line. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about doing this and what route they take to get there. All right. So after that, they also did talk about other items. I think this was pretty much the speed round that you were mentioning there, J Scale. They talked about the armor weight impacting stamina, food, and hunger. Well, we already discussed how it impacts your heart rate and things like that. So there are some effects now, and the possibility it could affect other health related items and all that. They also talked about loot drop rares, kind of. Jasko, what was your take on the rare item?
Yeah, the answer was basically no, but he didn't say no. He just said, you know, you'll get some cooler stuff in the crates, but you're also going to be able to buy the stuff as well at the stores. So I was
Yeah,
like, okay, well, so the incentive for me right now to go to loot crates and whatnot is so that I don't have to buy the armor. I'm not getting the armor I want to wear, but at least I don't have to keep buying armor when I lose it.
you get very disposable armor. You're not going to care if you lose.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the way things work right now, because there's so many bugs that can cause you to die, without without you expecting it. If you were to find something that was really cool and super rare, would you actually wear it
I did,
if it
and
was
I
armor?
lost it.
I guess the answer is yes.
I lost it at IAE today. I lost my my Hurston security armor.
Ouch.
So,
Oh,
but that's my own dumbass that did that though. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it definitely affects you.
Oh yeah, it does. And they even addressed this I think last week's or the week before is when they were talking about looting and somebody had asked then, are there going to be special one-offs or rares and all that? And they said back then that no, there's not going to be rares. There's nothing super special about what's going to be in the crates. It's just going to be things you can definitely use. So maybe I think we've seen at least though that there have been some different variants of different things as well too though, but nothing that would classify as one-off items. So backpacks. Or I'm sorry, restraints. I skipped restraints. Handcuffs with limit will limit your movement while being awake. They're talking about being able to sedate people as well. This is probably going to come into the bounty hunting and surrender aspect of things. Uh, Having to bring them back alive because we know that there's a point that they're going to want to implement dead or alive kind of type gameplay where you may be better off bringing them in live instead of dead. So they are looking into that aspect of the game. They talked about backpacks that contain equipment, not for storage, but as Jay Scale had mentioned when we were talking about armor, profession suits that are going to have specialized backpacks, modularity, as well as charging capabilities, things like that. They also talked about smoke grenades to basically mask your position or give yourself cover, maybe some type of marker system. A lot of different grenades that they're looking at with the EMP, the noise, the incendiary, and the stun. Uh, I have problems with the grenades that I have now, so I don't know if giving me more options is really a good idea. May find a new way to blow up the reclaimer with those. And alien FPS weapons. They're looking at them at some point. They're going to start getting a little stranger and weirder, but they're working around the human weapons first. Gadgets that they did mention, definitely, we've seen a lot of these in other games as well. Sentries, deployable shields. They're also talking about different types of mines, things that you can use to also protect your ship when you land on a planet, and you can set up mines around it to protect it. And lots of different things, including riot shields and deployable turrets, which will definitely be, which we thought the miniguns that are at the bunkers were going to be those deployable turrets. Because at that time, they even talked about, plopping it onto a moving platform and using it in place, and that got shot down real quick. But they're still looking into that one. They brought up resistance to knockdown. Yes, because I'm tired of falling on my backside. Even just walking up a ramp and standing in a flying ship, you're best to just sit down, lay down, or go find a chair. But they are looking into that and working on a way to improve that. They did bring up night vision goggles and different types of scopes, including infrared. And these are planned for the future. They're also looking at ways to implement other types of technology into the visors on the armor itself and tying it into the FPS radar and scanning, and that way you'll see it right on your visor. People have been asking for holsters for their clothing. You want to wear, your overcoat, your ball cap. You don't want to wear armor running around the station. People have asked for holsters, side holsters for the guns. Right now, yeah, it's not really anything they're committing to, but they know people want it. And oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're putting pockets in clothes, including your medical gown. If you've ever noticed, you've got storage in your medical gown.
You do,
I
don't you? I just realized that.
I did not look to see if I had storage in my medical
You
gown.
do. When we were messing around in the PTU for IAE, when they were doing the showroom stuff,
Hmm.
I had put civilian clothes on my dude, and I opened my inventory to look for something, and I realized the left side opens up when whatever you're wearing has storage as well. The pants I was wearing had storage. I was like, oh, I couldn't put anything in them, but I was
Oh,
like,
you
all
could
right,
probably get a whammy burger in them.
possibly.
Thank you very much, Cindy, for the resubscribe. I greatly appreciate that. And this, I think, is the worst part of this whole freaking show. And this really kind of, I was like, what? At the very end, Jared brings up the last topic and says, now about those Titan suits. Oh, I'm sorry, we're out of time. And he closed it at that.
Yep.
What the hell? That's just, I don't know if he's doing that just to troll or if he's doing that as a teaser that maybe it's something they're planning on addressing soon. I'm not sure how to take that. It's just, we know a lot of people know about these things. A lot of people have been waiting for them. And to close the show like that was just messed up. So, very interesting show. A lot of great information. I found it more interesting than the last couple, but be prepared to watch it twice because they go fast and they dump a lot of information very quickly, and it's easy to kind of lose pace with where they're at. So, and of course, that's all the news stuff for that week, but we got IAE going on. And I think J-Scale, actually, you made a very good point here that Jared is really hyping up the MISC Day. And I think we know what is the possibility of MISC Day. We know that the Argo Raft is coming. That's already been pretty much confirmed. The whole MISC Day thing, it's speculation on whether it's going to be a refinery or what type of ship it's going to be. There's a lot of different rumors out there. Of course, not going to really say anything is in stone because there really isn't. But IAE is running now through December 1st. And one of the best parts of IAE is Whitley's Guide. And I am an absolute Grand Tour and Top Gear fan, and I do absolutely love those guys. And this is definitely a play on Jeremy Clarkson, that is for sure. But this is pretty much the first Whitley's Guide here that they put out.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back to Microtech, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is back for 2951. Welcome to Whitley's Guide. That frosty air can only mean we're back in your favourite winter wonderland, Microtech. We're currently gearing up to head to the Tobin Expo Centre in cooler than cool New Babbage and seizing the opportunity to put this Anvil Spartan through its proverbial paces. The team designed this not-so-little beauty specifically to transport the most precious cargo of all, your friends, family, favourite heavily armed mercenary outfit, etc. So if you're looking to get a load of folks from point A to point B and keep them all in one piece, then the Spartan was seemingly designed just for you.
And of course, that was an A2 taken off in the background.
Whitley's Guide, so we aren't just going to take Anvil's word for it. Plus, hey Marty, how are you? I needed some personnel to looking good, Merrill, to transport for this segment, and there's nothing my good to see you, Terry, executives here like more than not paying extras. Everybody in? Off we go. This machine, Anvil uses the Atlas platform that their ballista anti-aircraft unit is built on. So they obviously aren't taking personnel transport lightly, so to speak. But I want to find out just how heavy this metal really is. And since this rig's low profile keeps us safe from those anti-aircraft turrets, Jimmy here is about to make things a little more interesting. We're about to find out if this Spartan can stay cool under pressure, whilst keeping our friends back there relatively comfortable in the face of impossibly heavy turbulence.
Okay, so we're gonna cut it there. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I definitely recommend checking that out on the RSI site. Whitley's got to be some of the best videos that they put out. Just being a fan of Grand Tour and all that, it's just totally Jeremy Clarkson. The downfall is this year we're not going to have a new Whitley's guide on every day. Right now they're going to be limited episodes, and they're going to be on December 19th, which was this one that we were just watching. They're going to also be on the 21st, the 23rd, and the 27th. So those are going to be the only 4 Whitley's guides for this year's IAE, where if you've watched this one, of course, you know where this ends up at the end. He comes to a realization on something, gets a little discouraged, talks about bringing out the big guns. So my curiosity, and just knowing that they base this off Top Gear, when they say big guns, this could be an innuendo to something unexpected. As anybody that's seen Top Gears knows, that it usually ends up in being a disaster. I mean, yeah, they definitely. I mean, they turn things into transit vans into boats, and I think wasn't one a big fan boat that they made. So
Yeah, they've done some really good ones.
yeah, I love that show. But yeah, he felt a little distraught at the end. Jimmy tried to cheer him up as best as he can in his mute way. But definitely check those out. It's some of the greatest content outside of the commercials that they do, and definitely great for a laugh. Of course, today we got RSI. Yesterday we had Anvil, and each day as we go forward, another manufacturer will go into the expo hall as one falls out. So today we got both RSI and Anvil in there. When Aegis moves in tomorrow, Anvil will come out of the expo hall, but all of their ships will remain on sale, and CCUs will still be available even if they're not on display. Because the basic rundown of how this works is today, like I said, is RSI. Tomorrow, Aegis is going to be on November 21st. Apoa, Banu, Asperia, and Gaddock are going to be November 22nd. Crusader and Tumbril will be in the showroom on November 23rd. Origin is going to be November 24th. Argo, which was the day we were told to keep an eye out on, probably because of the raft, as well as Consolidate Outland. Grey Cat and Kruger, who makes the Merlin and Archimedes, is going to be on November 25th. Drake is going to be November 26th. And the other day we were told to definitely keep an eye on it. Surprisingly, it's the last day of manufacturers is MISC on November 27th. Now, after that, because of course this runs through the 1st, we have our best in show display, which is going to be November 28th, where you're going to be able to go in, rent for free all the best in show, the 4 top winners. And then basically after that, they have a 3-day finale. I think it's typically during the finale where they have the armor and the weapons display on the lower level of the expo center. Where the holo viewers are, you can go down there. You can get any gun, any armor, complete sets, matching color, all right in one location. You don't have to travel around to get the right stuff. But then the last 3 days is going to be the final for the entire show. And then during that finale is going to be your final time to get whatever CCUs, war bonds, standalones that you missed out during the individual days. And during that final 3 days, you'll be able to rent all the ships again, including the 890 Jump, the Reclaimer, the Carrack, all of those. After that, come December 2nd, it's all gone. So those are going to be your final times to try, fly, and buy whatever it is that you're looking for. As far as the IAE goes, though, I mean, I know we had some concern when 315 had so many issues and all that, but it has been stable.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, very. Speaking of IAE, there was one thing we missed in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Spectrum dispatch that was put out this week
Yeah,
called Kaizen Risk Assessment. I don't know if you read that.
I missed that one.
They were dumping a lot of stuff like over a couple of days. Anyway, it's it's a risk assessment, and basically it's about markets and fluctuation of stock prices and whatnot. But it opens with an assessment, kind of talking about IAE,
Hmm.
and one of it. But I'll just read part of it. RSI and Anvil have the first paragraph. Some folks over on SE Leaks took as a shot at them because it warns about. Um, Basically, it says, as history has proven time and again, that information leaked before the expo is often incomplete or simply wrong. It's a narrative, right? It's supposed to be like a report to somebody.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, yeah, RSI and Anvil have seen steady growth ahead of what many expect to be a strong showing from both manufacturers. Meanwhile, MISC's stock price has fluctuated wildly after a highly coordinated outlaw attack on one of its transports sparked rumors that its presence at the expo might be affected. MISC has publicly denied these claims and insisted that everything it needs for the main expo in Kiel is already in system. Some noted the company specified Kiel, but made no mention of the satellite on Expo on Microtech, leaving some to wonder if the omission was a mistake or intentional.
Hmm.
So that with Jared messing about, they're trying to build hype around Mist Day, and maybe it's a ship, maybe it's two ships, maybe it's no ships.
It could
Um,
be. I mean, anything's possible. I
So
mean,
it's just funny. I mean, the rest of this thing is about insurance and the effect of the respawning the I forgot the name of the technology already. The
the
orb
oh yeah, I forget the name of it.
sphere,
Yeah, the
the
Dyson.
Dyson sphere.
Yeah,
It's not a Dyson sphere. Anyway, they talk about it on the basically on life insurance and how it's messed up the life insurance racket, right? Because people aren't dying.
right.
Um, anyway, sorry.
Oh no,
Just something I
you're fine. But yeah, so outside of that, we're talking about the stability of the IAE, and this is really true for the last two events. And I think it was at least the three events back that really we saw any kind of stability issues. It has been running unbelievably smooth. The streams that we've been on have been great. No interruptions, with the exception of the one freeze that we had, and that was after we had visited the expo. We were actually on a different planet doing some bunker missions, I think. It's I think it's going great, and kind of along the lines of the benefit of doing it on New Babbage again. I think it paid off.
yeah, I think Tana mentioned it earlier. We're seeing some slowness in certain interactions, like looting.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it takes several attempts to drag something across before it registers sometimes, or sometimes you just have to try it a few times, close out, and then open it up again, and it'll update. Um, there was something else that we ran into. I can't remember.
Calling for pads.
Oh yeah, calling for pads is a little wonky, mostly around Microtech, which is
Yeah.
expected.
But
Yeah.
in the last couple patches, we've had long delays in getting pad responses too, though.
Yeah, but in other places like Everest and PO, when you're approaching the station, they've got that thing that plays now.
Yeah.
When you're around Microtech, it's like the guy says, "Hey, thanks for staying," or whatever the message is when you leave.
Yeah.
Um, the other ones actually say, "Thank you for contacting something landing services."
Oh, yeah,
So
I've heard that.
it seems to be working properly outside of the Microtech area. Is all I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, like we didn't like in the 7 hours we were playing today. I didn't. There wasn't anything that was huge. Nothing that would like cause us to not be able to continue.
Yeah,
Yeah. No.
and in the in-game chat, I haven't really noticed much as far as the free fly goes. A lot of, inappropriate behavior or playing or griefing. Usually you see the in-game chat light up with people complaining about being targeted and all that stuff, and haven't seen any of that. So that's it. And, could it be a sign that the death with consequences has had at least a little effect? I don't think it's going to get rid of it completely, but could it change the course of the way those people play?
true.
Well, and yeah, one of the things I noticed is like when I first logged in after they launched the patch and went up to Port Tressler, there's an Idris and a Hammerhead sitting there from the UE Navy,
Yep.
and I'm like, okay, I think they're kind of they've got some stuff in place in case somebody does show up with like an ion. They have to have a way to handle it.
Yeah.
um, I did notice too, some of the trams are now saying the correct destination when you're on them, which is kind
Yeah.
of exciting.
That was actually in the patch notes that was corrected.
Yeah, that was a fix that they put out.
What's going on,
It's the little
Galgore?
thing.
Sorry.
Well, the other thing with the stations is we noticed that some of the guns on the stations are just firing off on repeat.
Yeah. Yeah. PO's done that for some time, but that's usually the only place you would see it.
Port Tressler was doing it today.
Yeah.
I also saw some white targets that had huge names on them. Like it was like a Cutlass Black. I think I forgot. I read it off to you. Tainted. It was like basically it
Yeah,
looked like it was a pirate Cutlass Black waiting to actually become a pirate, but it was just sitting there. Like
I'm not officially a pirate yet. You got to wait. So, as far as the showroom, any disappointment?
yeah, it would have been nice to see. I mean, I hate the hollow viewers because you just can't see anything in them, but it would have been nice to like see the Apollos, the Orion for the RSI show.
Mm-hmm.
It just
I was
seems
a little
kind of,
sad. Yeah, I was a little sad with RSI.
especially since the ship of the month is the Connie, and those are the main features out on the floor of the RSI hall, right?
Yep.
Everybody that's a subscriber anyway technically has the ability to pull one out and fly it anyway. They don't need to. I don't know. It just seemed kind of that one seemed kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, obviously they may not have an exterior created on the Apollo that they can put on the showroom directly or anything. I was a little disappointed. It just RSI seems so empty.
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, and maybe I missed it. I did not even see a hollow viewer for the Apollo.
No,
No, there weren't.
no.
It
Yeah,
was Perseus,
Scorpius and the
Polaris, and
Polaris.
yeah.
And it's like that didn't make sense because I can't remember if we saw one at Invictus or if we saw one in previous IAEs. But I mean, the Apollo is going to be a big part of the gameplay with the new medical changes. You'd
Yep.
think they'd want to show it off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
but
was really surprised.
yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, it just really seemed empty.
One of the things I would have liked to seen too is a little more variety in the components that they had around. I mean, there was some, I did see some of the weapons change, but like the components in the back of the hall, I don't
Hmm.
think they changed yet.
I don't
No.
think they have either.
No, because we're looking for Atlases and
Yep.
I was looking for Chimeras, but
And
they're not
be honest with you, from previous Invictus and IAE, I don't think they changed ever.
Yeah, I don't think they did at Invictus launch week at all. Which today I did notice that they did have distortions in the RSI hall, which they
Yeah.
didn't have, yesterday. So
Yeah. And I mean, overall, I think we'll have to see how Aegis and all that is. I'm not complaining about the show. I'm not a huge RSI fan. I think they have a very small offering. But it was kind of disappointing to see the Apollo not get represented there because now I own one. Um,
yeah,
and actually, we were talking about the Apollo Medevac needing to play the mini game. You don't. It's available to everybody now. I was able to get a CCU from my Apollo triage right up to the medevac, and I never completed the minigame.
yep.
And I think Cryo said he had access to it as well too, and he has never even seen the minigame. So it looks like that's just pretty much open to everybody at this point.
well, so I was talking to Tainted about that this morning. I think it was you, Tainted. Anyway, uh, I was arguing with somebody about that. Like, I swear, last IAE, I saw both of the Apollos on the store, and then at Fleet Week, only the triage was on there until I completed the game. Then it was available.
Yeah, and see, I swear that in the past when I've gone and looked at the Apollos, that to get it. I had only seen the meta or the triage in there, the red one. I don't recall ever seeing the white one, the medevac, ever on the store accessible to me.
Same.
Yeah, and like I said, I thought it was available at last IE on the store, but
Yeah. I mean, if it's a glitch, I took advantage of it and I grabbed my CCU just in case. Because that little Donkey Kong game sucks.
Yeah, right.
So, if anybody out there isn't aware what we're talking about, there's actually a mini game you can access. I think you click a link on it. It takes you a page where you play an 8-bit, it's probably actually a 4-bit, emulated game that's similar to a kind of Tempest style, go around the curve and shoot at the big monkey on top of the building, save the people. That used to be used to give people access to the medevac. But it looks like it's available to everybody now. So, uh, actually, not too bad. I mean, you're getting missiles, you're getting heavier armor and all that for a $25 increase. So, it's definitely not a bad upgrade. I took my triage straight up to it as soon as I saw it. As far as your guys' expectations, outside of what we talked about with Mist Day, because I still not 100% sold that Starfare looks right on the IAE launch page or launch video. Outside of Mist, what are you guys' expectations?
well, Argo Day should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, seeing what the raft is going to be and how it's going to be built out and made up will definitely be interesting, and what price is going to be sold at.
Yeah,
I-
yeah. Price on that.
Outside of that, I mean, I think the alien ships, because I haven't seen those in a while.
I
Outside of
think,
that, meh.
yeah, it's been since Alien Week, I would say.
Well, I
So,
mean, and I've been looking forward to, some of the days that are coming up. But it's tough to get excited for some of this. Like Aegis, I mean, we've already got their newest ship, in game. The Apoa, Banu, and Asperia, there's not much happening there. Gatak, I don't think has got anything going on. Crusader's going to be a great one.
yeah.
Origin, eh, it's nice seeing the 890 and getting to walk around inside of it. I do enjoy the 890. I think it's a great ship. Um, it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do with that kind of moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm thinking is kind of like you said, Gaddock only has one ship, so it's just being combined in with all the other alien ships. Obviously, BMM is going to be a big draw. We're not going to see anything more than a hollow viewer for it, of course, and
Yeah.
it's just way too big to fit in the expo hall, anyways. But of course, the big question with the BMM is the price. Are we going to see another price increase on it, or is it going to stay at the 500 it's at now? When I got it, it was I think 350, 360, and of course, it's had one price increase since then. And as we get further along, I think we'll definitely see another price increase. I just don't know if it'll be at this point yet. Of course, we also got the price increase on the Caterpillar, so there's speculation as to what that's going to be. We'll find out on Drake Day. I'm waiting to CCU my Caterpillars until I know what the price increase is, so I know what to CCU it to.
Yep.
As far as what is the most anticipated day that you guys are looking forward to?
Misk.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
definitely looking forward.
Well, I mean,
There's a lot of hype around it.
well, I was planning on grabbing a Hull C and looking at possibly grabbing an Endeavor.
Mhm.
That's why I've out of the other manufacturers, barring anything new, I've got what I want at the moment. So that's really what I'm looking for Misk. I mean, obviously, if there's a new ship or three, then I'm definitely even more interested now just to find out what they are. So
Yep, definitely. Because actually, we're still waiting to see what comes out before we pick what the giveaway is going to be for November. So we got to see all the offerings, and then we'll decide what we're going to give away. Right now, Spartan's the only thing new that came out. So right now, the Spartan's winning as the giveaway, but we'll have to wait for Misk Day, I guess. It's going to be a very short. People can get their entries in now, but it's going to be like a 1 day notice before we actually give it away. Or I may just extend it till the middle of December, and then cut off. Take a obviously Christmas break and all that after that. So we'll figure out once we see what the ships are. I would say I always love Aegis Day. I have the Aegis ships, and it's still just seeing the reclaimer sitting in the middle of a showroom is just awe-inspiring still though. It's just unbelievable, that ship.
It's big.
Well, when they were cycling the manufacturer halls through doing the test play and the PTU,
Mm-hmm.
that was the one thing that I did notice is when you're at the bottom of those stairs down in like the where the little hollow thing is,
Yeah.
where the giant virtual max headroom is. Um, when you look up those stairs, that's the first thing you see is the Redeemer hulking over you.
Oh, you
And on
mean
the
the
way,
reclaimer?
sorry, yeah, the Reclaimer. I keep switching the names. I have both, and I've flown both.
Yeah.
Anyway, on Origin Day, it's the 890,
Yeah.
and just being in there and seeing the 890 dwarf everything else, you're like, wow.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean, you can own the ship and it still just takes your breath away to see it inside a building and how massive it actually is.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
both.
there's like a foot behind it before it touches.
Yeah,
So yeah, Aegis Day is always one of my favorite days, and of course, like you said, Misk, I'm very interested. I would say I'm definitely interested in Argo to see what this raft is going to do, because
oh yeah.
I do have to pick up a CCU to the SRV on Argo Day, and it's going to be interesting to see what turns out to happen with the raft. We know the raft is about, or the speculation with what shots we've seen of possible rendition of it. It looks like it could possibly be equal to the size of a mole. We don't know. Again, nothing is confirmed. And unless I can honestly say it's been confirmed, we're not going to pass it off as 100% true. So take everything with a grain of salt.
Right.
So kind of like he said, a possible shot at SC leaks, which SC leaks gets a lot of things right, but even they will say not everything here is correct. So they do admit that there are times they get it wrong. So other than that, I think just the aspect of being able to fly anything you want to fly, rent anything you want to rent, and get it in game, get your hands on it, is a great thing that these guys do. Not only just this time, this is the one time where it's everything. Other times of the years, it's select different manufacturers or style of ships and all that. I think this is a great thing that they do. Obviously, they do it for their own revenue, but it also brings the community together to enjoy these events, and I love this time of year with the IAE.
No, I think it's a lot of fun. It's cool to kind of go in and see everything and just kind of chill out and wander around. But unless it's RSI day and there's really nothing to look at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
true.
exactly, exactly. I am excited to see that Best in Show paint on a 600i. Just seeing any paint on a 600i is probably going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, because there really is no paint unless you got an executive edition, which is gray, black and gold or gray and gold, I believe.
That's very
There's
pretty.
no
Yeah.
variation on that ship whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, and of course, all the other paints they brought in. I mean, they've got more paints for the Hercules series. They got more paints for the Spartan, or they got additional paints for Spartan. More paints are going to be possibly coming for the Starfighter. So definitely going to be a lot more color options out there. These events definitely bring in some very good ones. They also bring in some very bad ones. I will say definitely for the Connie, that orange heron paint was definitely a good choice. The white paint, not so much of a good choice because it just means I can say I have a Phoenix, and as long as you don't come inside the ship, you'll never know. And the Hercules, I mean, the A2, you can't improve on that black with the red trim. There's no improvement on that. So don't even touch that.
Well, I think what we're seeing though is that a lot of ships are getting the Storm Surge, Stormbringer, the blue paint,
Yeah.
and the polar camo paint
Hmm.
that didn't happen before. So I expect to see more ships, as we go through the days here, getting even existing ships that already have paint. I expect to see that paint for some of them.
Yeah, I will admit I love the polar paint and the frostbite for the Vanguards. That white just looks extremely sharp on a fighter. And the Prospector, though, I prefer the Stormbringer, the blue.
Yeah, I
So
do the same thing.
so it's I think the style of the purpose of the ship definitely plays into what paint I want on it. The Hercules, don't touch my A2. It's staying black with the red trim. And my Pirate Gladius, not touching it. It's perfect in red.
Beautiful.
So, but what I'm curious about, and I got a package that has the skull and crossbones for the Cutlass. Are we ever going to see it?
Who
I
knows?
don't know that I've seen the package that had that.
The Drake Loot and Scoot had it, and then my Dominus pack has it.
Beautiful.
So, and it's I think it's supposed to be a pirate skin, but it's one of those things that they put it out there before they actually developed it. But now they've come out with coal fire paint, they've come out with the ghoulish green paint, and I love the ghoulish green. Don't get me wrong, but this is a skin that they sold with the package. So my question is, are we going to start now that paints seem to be rolling out on a regular basis? Are we going to see them go back? And I know that in the pledge store, used to be able to buy individual skins that they projected they were going to have, and they've pulled them all out and given refunds on in store credit for those ones that you had purchased. Are they going to, the ones that they didn't do that for, are we going to start seeing those roll out at some point as well?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I think it's supposed to be kind of like the Pirate Caterpillar paint. It's supposed to be like skull and crossbones and a black and a deep red. So it'll be interesting to see if they ever actually produce that.
I like that color on my Caterpillar.
Yeah.
It's nice. I wish
Yeah.
the kill count worked. Like if you got kills, the checks kept going.
Yeah, really. Who knows? Maybe once they get modularity and the cockpit separation working on that and all that, you'll eventually see that. So, anything else you guys want to throw out there for IAE as we come up on the end of the show?
It's just that CitizenCon, they talked about the the Misk Explorer ship and the small refinery ship that everybody seemed to have forgotten about.
Oh, I didn't forget about it.
No. I'm talking about. I'm reading through forums and everything, and everybody's obsessed with because of where Misk is, and in the lineup and everything, that there's going to be a new ship announced, and everybody's focused on the Explorer ship, and everybody seems to have lost track of the small refinery ship.
Yeah, and you and I have discussed this, that they made it very clear that one, there was going to be a mystery during that CitizenCon, and two, they did straight up say a Misk refinery ship is going to be along very soon. So, and who knows, maybe they did get it wrong with SC leaks, and what people are expecting to come in is not what they're expecting, is not going to be what they're expecting, and actually just be what they already talked about, that they were out in the open about. So who knows? Um, it's anything is possible at this point. So, but other than that, I didn't see any other questions in our chat out there. So, did anybody out there have any questions? We can take a few seconds there if anybody wanted to throw anything out. I see J Scale's been in the chats talking with people, answering questions. Um, definitely hit us up if there's anything you want to know. While we're waiting to see if anything's there, don't forget we are here every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for State of the Verse. We will be here next Saturday as well, doing some additional coverage from IAE. I expect that we may not see a Star Citizen live or a Inside Star Citizen because of the event that's going on, but we'll bring you any information that does come out over the course of the next week. Don't forget that you want to make sure that you rent the ships right now before you buy them or pledge them. If you haven't rented them before or flown them before, this is the best time to do it. And if you're considering getting into Star Citizen or are getting into Star Citizen, use that referral code. Get your extra 5,000 AUEC. Will help greatly with getting a set of armor. Unless you want the Hurston security armor, then you need a little bit more. It's about 10,000 for that. Or you can get some nice FS9s, guns to do some bounty missions. and you'll get that MPUV cargo as long as you get a paid game package before December 1st. And that's a $35 value with LTI that you can upgrade to anything else down the line. But use that referral code. It'll definitely give you a little extra, and it's a great freebie there from CIG. And remember, every day is going to change at IAE, so jump in, even if it's just for 30 minutes to check it out. You got 2 days to check out every manufacturer, and then the finale at the end. I would imagine that the floor display for the finale at the end will probably retain just the best in shows up there, or possibly just not have any ships at all. I think they've done that before. Also, check out YouTube, Dark Hour 717 over there. We have a lot of tutorials, gameplay, as well as other information there. We even have our new memberships that are as low as 99 cents. Get in, join, hit the join button, and you can get a link to my Discord where we get in once a month, which next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, we are going to be doing the private YouTube member stream. And even at the 99-cent level, you get access to that. Get on my personal private Discord server. We go in game, play around for a few hours. We're going to check out IAE, probably do some mining, maybe some bounties, and very definitely some FPS missions. And we'll stream it over and get you guys involved with that. For our Twitch subscribers, yours is going to be on Saturday, the 27th, and that's going to be at 1 p.m., and we're going to do the same thing. So if you subscribe on Twitch, just link your Twitch to your Discord, and you'll automatically be placed in my personal Discord server. Either group can reach out to me at any time, ask any questions that they have. I'm always answering anything that's sent to me as quickly as I can, and love hearing from you guys. Also, don't forget to check out the stream every Wednesday and Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I want to just say thank you for all the support you guys have given. Check out the Patreon, the merch store. A lot of great new merchandise, including the Amarok's Fang beanie. And thank you. I mean, you guys make this possible. J-Scale, thank you for all the work that you put in with putting the notes together. Tainted, thank you for joining us again. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on the show with the insights that you have as well. And do you guys have anything to close with?
Just one thing from me. I'm pretty sure Jared said in the last SC Live or Inside Star Citizen that the next two are going to be on ships. And since they're pre-recorded, I'm expecting to see one this coming week.
Oh, okay. So we'll definitely make sure we catch that then.
I'm assuming it'll be the Ares and whatever is coming from Argo.
Ah, okay. Tainted, anything from you, sir?
I would just say definitely fly before you buy, and don't spend money you don't have unless you're buying a gift for me. And yeah, thanks for having me. Great time, guys.
Unfortunately, I do not have a link or a phone number for SCAA. We should start a new group, Star Citizen Anonymous there. But yeah, know the signs that you have a problem. If you're not paying your rent because you want to buy a Javelin, you might have a little bit of an issue. Maybe. All right. But other than that, thank you again for joining us. And I hope you guys have a great evening. And we will see you next time.
Toodles.
Bye.